You know, right now, in this very moment, something in your life is changing. Maybe it's something small, maybe it's everything. Your job, your relationships, your health, your finances, the way you see yourself, the way others see you. Change is happening, whether you invited it or not. And I want to talk to you about something that matters more than anything else when you're standing in the middle of all that uncertainty. I want to talk to you about trust. Real trust. The kind of trust that doesn't depend on your circumstances looking good. The kind of trust that holds you steady when the ground beneath your feet feels like it's crumbling away. You see, most of us have been taught to trust in things we can see and touch and control. We trust our bank accounts. We trust our jobs. We trust our relationships. We trust our abilities. And there's nothing wrong with any of those things. But here's what happens. When those things start to shift and change, when the money gets tight, when the job disappears, when the relationship falls apart, when our abilities seem to fail us, we panic. We panic because we've placed our trust in things that were never meant to hold the full weight of our security. We've been trusting in the creation instead of the creator. We've been trusting in the gifts instead of the giver. We've been looking at the waves instead of the one who walks on water. Now, I'm not here to tell you that change is easy. I'm not here to pretend that it doesn't hurt when things fall apart. I'm not here to give you some kind of spiritual bypass where you just smile and pretend everything's fine when it's not. What I'm here to tell you is that there is a power in you and around you and through you that is greater than any change you will ever face. There is a source of strength that never runs dry. There is a presence that never leaves you, no matter how alone you feel. And learning to trust that presence, learning to rely on that power, learning to lean into that source is the single most important thing you can do with your life. Let me tell you something about God, about source, about the universe, about whatever name you want to use for that infinite intelligence that creates and sustains all life. This power is not outside of you, judging you from some distant throne in the sky. This power is not waiting for you to get your act together before it helps you. This power is not punishing you with change to teach you a lesson. No, this power is in you. It is the very essence of who you are. It is the breath in your lungs right now. It is the force that beats your heart without you having to think about it. It is the intelligence that heals your cuts and fights off illness and grows your hair and digests your food. This same intelligence that knows how to create galaxies and spin planets and bring forth life from a single seed, this intelligence is living in you, as you, through you, right now. And here's the beautiful thing. This intelligence, this God force, this source energy, it knows what it's doing. It really does, even when you don't. Even when everything looks like chaos. Even when you can't see the path forward. Even when you've tried everything and nothing has worked. This intelligence that created you has not forgotten you. It has not abandoned you. It is not confused about what you need. It is orchestrating things behind the scenes that you cannot see. It is preparing solutions before you even knew you had a problem. It is arranging meetings and opportunities and circumstances that will blow your mind when you look back on them later. But here's where most people get stuck. They want to trust God, they really do, but they want to trust God their way. They want to tell God how things should work out. They want to give God a deadline. They want to explain to God the only acceptable solution to their problem. They say they trust, but what they really mean is, I trust God to do exactly what I think should happen, in exactly the way I think it should happen, in exactly the time frame I think it should happen. And that's not trust. That's control with a spiritual label on it. Real trust means letting go. It means surrendering your need to know how and when and where and why. It means releasing your grip on the outcome. It means saying, I don't know how this is going to work out, but I trust that it will work out. I don't know what the solution is, but I trust that there is a solution. I don't know why this is happening, but I trust that there is a reason, even if I never understand it. That's trust. That's faith. That's what it means to really rely on something greater than your own limited perspective. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, but you don't understand my situation. You don't know how bad things are. You don't know what I'm going through. How can I trust when everything is falling apart? And you're right. I don't know your specific situation, but I do know this. I know that the same power that created the sunrise this morning is the same power that lives in you. I know that the same intelligence that knows how to turn winter into spring knows how to turn your winter into spring. I know that the same force that brings life out of death, that brings light out of darkness, that brings order out of chaos, that force is working in your life right now, whether you can see it or not. Change is not your enemy. I need you to really hear this. Change is not your enemy. Change is life itself. Life is always moving, always growing, always evolving, always becoming. Nothing in nature stays the same. The caterpillar doesn't stay a caterpillar. The seed doesn't stay a seed. The child doesn't stay a child. And you are nature. You are part of this great unfolding. The changes you're experiencing, even the painful ones, even the scary ones, even the ones you didn't ask for, they are part of your evolution. They are part of your growth. They are preparing you for something you cannot yet see. Think about it. Every single time something has changed in your life before, even when you thought it was the worst thing that could happen, even when you couldn't see any way through it, you survived. You made it through. You're here right now, which means you have a 100% success rate of getting through difficult times. 100%. And you didn't do that alone. You were carried. You were guided. You were supported by this invisible force that never left your side. But here's what I want you to understand. Trusting God doesn't mean sitting around waiting for life to happen to you. Trusting God doesn't mean being passive and doing nothing. Trusting God means taking inspired action while releasing your attachment to the outcome. It means doing what's in front of you to do, doing it to the best of your ability, and then trusting that your efforts are being multiplied by a power greater than yourself. It means showing up, doing your part, and then getting out of the way and letting God do God's part. You see, there's a difference between effort and struggle. Effort is taking action with ease and flow. Struggle is taking action with resistance and force. When you trust, you can make effort without struggle. You can work hard without wearing yourself out. You can pursue your goals without being attached to them. You can desire change without demanding it. You can hope for better without being devastated if it doesn't come in the way you expected. And here's something else that's really important. When you truly trust God, when you truly surrender to this higher power, you stop comparing yourself to other people. You stop looking at what they have and feeling like you're missing out. You stop wondering why things seem easier for them. You stop judging your life by someone else's timeline. Because you understand that your path is your path. Your timing is your timing. Your lessons are your lessons. What's meant for you will find you. What's not meant for you will pass you by, and that's a blessing, not a curse. So many people are stressed and anxious and worried because they're trying to force things that aren't ready to happen yet. They're trying to open doors that are meant to stay closed. They're trying to make relationships work that are meant to end. They're trying to hold on to jobs that are meant to be released. They're trying to stay in places they've outgrown. And all of that forcing and pushing and controlling creates so much unnecessary suffering. But when you trust, when you really trust, you can relax, you can breathe, you can be present. You can enjoy your life even while things are changing because you know that you're being led somewhere better. Now, let's talk about fear for a minute, because fear is the opposite of trust. Fear says, it's all up to me. If I don't make this happen, it won't happen. If I don't worry about it, something bad will happen. If I don't control every detail, everything will fall apart. Fear keeps you up at night. Fear makes you sick. Fear ruins your relationships. Fear steals your joy. And fear is a liar. Fear is not telling you the truth about who you are or what's possible for you. When fear shows up, and it will show up because you're human and that's normal, I want you to do something different than what you've probably been doing. Don't try to fight it. Don't try to push it away. Don't judge yourself for feeling afraid. Instead, acknowledge it. Say, okay, fear, I see you. I know you're trying to protect me. I know you're trying to keep me safe, but I don't need you right now. I'm safe. I'm guided. I'm protected by something much greater than you. And then turn your attention back to trust. Turn your attention back to God. Turn your attention back to that still, small voice inside of you that knows everything is going to be okay. You know what that voice sounds like? It's quiet. It's gentle. It's peaceful. It doesn't scream. It doesn't demand. It doesn't panic. It simply says, be still, be patient, be present. I've got this. I've got you. And when you learn to listen to that voice more than you listen to the voice of fear, your whole life changes. Not because your circumstances magically become perfect, but because you become unshakable in the midst of imperfect circumstances. Let me tell you about something I call divine timing. There is a perfect time for everything. There's a time to plant and a time to harvest, a time to build and a time to tear down, a time to speak and a time to be silent, a time to hold on and a time to let go. And God knows that timing. Source knows that timing. The universe knows that timing. But we don't always know it. We think we know. We think we've got it all figured out. We think we know exactly when something should happen. and then it doesn't happen when we think it should, and we get frustrated and angry, and we lose faith. But what if the delay is part of the plan? What if the waiting is preparing you? What if the closed door is protecting you from something you can't see? What if the detour is leading you to something better than what you originally wanted? What if the change you're resisting is actually the change that's going to save your life? I've seen this happen over and over again. Someone loses a job they thought they'd have forever, and 6 months later they're in a better job they never would have applied for if they hadn't been let go. Someone goes through a painful breakup, and a year later they meet the person they're actually supposed to be with. Someone gets sick and has to slow down, and in that slowness they find their true purpose. Someone loses everything and has to rebuild, and in the rebuilding they become the person they were always meant to be. The change you're going through right now, the thing that's scaring you, the thing that's keeping you up at night, the thing you're praying will just go back to the way it was, what if that's the best thing that could be happening to you? What if that's God answering prayers you didn't even know you prayed? What if that's the universe clearing the path for something so much better than you can currently conceive? But you have to trust. You have to let go. You have to stop fighting and start flowing. You have to stop resisting and start allowing. You have to stop trying to control everything and start surrendering to the wisdom that knows more than you do. And I want to be clear about something. Surrendering doesn't mean giving up. It doesn't mean you stop caring. It doesn't mean you become a doormat or you let people walk all over you. Surrendering means you do what you can do, and then you trust God to do what you can't do. Surrendering means you plant the seeds, but you don't try to control the weather. Surrendering means you show up with love and effort and commitment, but you release the need to force outcomes. Here's a practice I want you to try. Every morning when you wake up, before you check your phone, before you start thinking about all the things you have to do, before you start worrying about all the things that could go wrong, I want you to take 3 deep breaths. And with each breath, I want you to say something. With the first breath, say, I trust. With the second breath, say, I am guided. With the third breath, say, all is well. That's it. Just 3 breaths. 3 simple statements. But if you do this every single day, you will begin to reprogram your mind. You will begin to shift your energy. You will begin to align yourself with the truth of who you are and what's available to you. And throughout the day, whenever you notice yourself getting anxious or worried or fearful about the changes happening around you, come back to your breath. Come back to those statements. I trust. I am guided. All is well. You don't have to believe it at first. You don't have to feel it at first. Just say it. Just practice it. Just offer it up to the universe as a prayer, as an intention, as a declaration of what you choose to focus on. Because here's the thing. Your mind is always creating your reality. What you focus on expands. What you give your attention to grows. If you focus on everything that's going wrong, you'll see more things going wrong. If you focus on how unfair life is, you'll experience more unfairness. If you focus on lack and limitation and fear, that's what will multiply in your experience. But if you focus on trust, if you focus on guidance, if you focus on the goodness and intelligence and love of the creative force that's running this whole show, then that's what starts to show up more and more in your life. This isn't about denying reality. This isn't about pretending problems don't exist. This is about choosing where you place your attention. This is about training your mind to look for evidence of God's presence instead of evidence of God's absence. This is about asking better questions. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask, what is this teaching me? Instead of asking, when will this end? Ask, how can I grow through this? Instead of asking, why doesn't God care about me? Ask, how is God working in my life right now, even if I can't see it? And let me tell you something about miracles. Miracles are happening all the time. They're not rare occurrences reserved for special people. They're the natural result of aligning yourself with the miraculous power that creates life itself. But most people miss the miracles because they're looking for something big and dramatic and obvious. They're waiting for the sky to open up and a voice to boom down with clear instructions. They're waiting for their problems to disappear overnight. They're waiting for circumstances to change before they change their thinking. But miracles often come in small ways. They come in the form of a kind word from a stranger right when you needed it. They come in the unexpected check in the mail. They come in the solution that pops into your head out of nowhere. They come in the door that opens right after another door closes. They come in the strength you didn't know you had. They come in the peace that passes understanding. They come in the knowing that you're going to be okay even when nothing around you suggests that you should feel that way. Start looking for miracles. Start expecting miracles. Start thanking God for miracles before they even show up, because gratitude is magnetic. Gratitude attracts more things to be grateful for. When you say thank you for what you have, you make room for more. When you appreciate the good that's already present in your life, you open the door for more good to flow in. And yes, I know it's hard to feel grateful when you're going through hard times. I know it's challenging to say thank you when you're losing something or someone you love. But this is exactly when gratitude becomes most powerful. This is when gratitude becomes an act of faith. This is when saying thank you in advance for the good that's coming becomes a declaration of trust. So right now, wherever you are, whatever you're facing, I want you to say thank you. Thank you for the lessons. Thank you for the growth. Thank you for the strength you're developing. Thank you for the changes that are clearing space for something better. Thank you for the difficulties that are revealing what really matters. Thank you for the pain that's breaking you open to more love and compassion. Thank you for the uncertainty that's teaching you to trust. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You see, when you live in a state of gratitude, when you live in a state of trust, when you live in a state of surrender to the divine flow of life, you stop being a victim of your circumstances. You stop feeling powerless. You stop waiting for someone or something outside of you to rescue you. Because you realize that the power to experience peace, the power to feel joy, the power to be free, that power is already inside of you. It's not dependent on your circumstances being a certain way. It's not dependent on people treating you a certain way. It's not dependent on having a certain amount of money or achieving a certain level of success. It's dependent on your connection to Source. It's dependent on your alignment with God. It's dependent on your willingness to trust what you cannot see. And this is where so many people get tripped up. They say they want to trust God, but they keep trying to do it on their own. They pray for help, and then they don't allow themselves to receive help. They ask for guidance, and then they ignore the signs and synchronicities that show up. They want a miracle, but they're not willing to change their thinking. They want their life to be different, but they're not willing to be different. Trusting God means becoming a cooperative partner with the divine. It means listening to your intuition. It means following the nudges. It means taking the inspired action even when it doesn't make logical sense. It means saying yes to opportunities that scare you. It means saying no to things that don't align with your truth. It means being willing to look foolish. It means being willing to fail. It means being willing to not have all the answers. It means being willing to walk by faith, not by sight. And let me tell you, when you start really trusting, when you start really surrendering, when you start really allowing God to lead your life, things start to happen that you couldn't have made happen on your own. Doors open that you didn't even knock on. People show up with exactly what you need. Resources appear from unexpected sources. Solutions present themselves in ways you never would have thought of. Your path becomes clear even though you couldn't see 2 feet in front of you before. But you have to be patient. You have to be willing to not know. You have to be okay with the mystery. You have to be comfortable with the gap between where you are and where you want to be. Because that gap is where faith lives. That gap is where trust is developed. That gap is where you learn that you're being held by something greater than yourself. Think about a trapeze artist. When they let go of one bar, there's a moment where they're hanging in midair, not holding on to anything before they catch the next bar. That moment is terrifying, but it's also necessary. You can't hold on to the old bar and grab the new bar at the same time. You have to let go. You have to trust that the next bar will be there. You have to trust that you won't fall. You have to trust in the physics, in the timing, in the training, in the net below you. That's where you are right now. You're in the in-between. You've let go of what was, but you haven't yet grabbed onto what's next. And it feels scary because you're not in control. But you are safe. You are held. You are guided. The net is there. The next bar is there. You just have to trust and keep your hands open and ready to receive. And while you're in this in-between space, this is the perfect time to get clear about what you really want. Not what you think you should want. Not what other people want for you. Not what you wanted 5 years ago when you were a different person. But what you, right now, in this present moment, truly desire for your life. Because God wants to give you the desires of your heart. But first you have to know what those desires are. You have to be honest about them. You have to stop censoring yourself. You have to stop telling yourself that what you want is too much or too silly or too impossible. Nothing is impossible for God. Nothing is too big. Nothing is too complicated. Nothing is beyond the creative power of the universe. The only limits are the ones you place on yourself. The only restrictions are the ones you accept as truth. The only impossibilities are the ones you believe in. So what do you really want? What would make your heart sing? What would make you feel alive? What would make you feel fulfilled? What would bring you joy? And I'm not talking about surface wants. I'm not talking about things that are just going to temporarily make you feel better. I'm talking about soul-level desires. I'm talking about the kind of wants that are aligned with your purpose. The kind of wants that, if fulfilled, would allow you to be more of who you really are and give more of what you came here to give. Get clear on that. Write it down. Speak it out loud. Pray about it. Meditate on it. And then, and this is the important part, release it. Give it to God. Say, this is what I desire, or something better. I trust that if it's meant for me, it will come. And if something better is meant for me, I'm open to that too. I release my attachment to the how and the when and the who and the where. I trust that you know what's best for me. I trust that your timing is perfect. I trust that you're orchestrating everything for my highest good. And then let it go. Stop obsessing about it. Stop worrying about it. Stop trying to force it. Stop checking every 5 minutes to see if it's happened yet. Live your life. Be present. Do the next right thing in front of you. Take care of your responsibilities. Love the people in your life. Find joy in the small moments. Be kind. Be generous. Be grateful. And trust that while you're doing all of that, God is working behind the scenes, arranging everything in ways you cannot see. Because that's how it works. When you surrender, when you trust, when you let go, you create space for the divine to work. But when you're clutching and grasping and controlling, you block the flow. You get in the way, you slow down or prevent the very thing you're trying to make happen. It's like trying to force a flower to bloom. You can't do it. You can water it, you can give it sunlight, you can provide good soil, but you can't force it to bloom. It blooms in its own time, according to its own inner intelligence. And you are like that flower. You have your own inner intelligence. You have your own timing. And when you trust that, when you cooperate with that, when you surrender to that, you bloom. And let me address something that I know is on a lot of people's minds. You might be thinking, but I've been trusting. I've been praying. I've been doing everything right. And things are still hard. Things are still changing. Things are still uncertain. Why isn't God helping me? And I want you